Hey, how's it going?
Hi, good. You?
Doing all right. I was walking in and gave my son a hug, and he knocked my glass of wine out of my hand. That's
Oh
your husband is cleaning it up. Well, and part of it was my fault. I just had it in the wrong spot, and just par for the course tonight, it seems. Oh man, one of those days. Okay. Guess I'll fix the lighting problem. Letting everyone in right now. How's everyone else doing tonight?
Hi, everyone.
Good.
Oh.
I'm exhausted. How are you?
Oh, well, I was just explaining, I was giving my son a hug quick before I came in here because he's going to go to bed, and I had my glass of wine in my hand and knocked it out of my hand into the hall. So my husband's cleaning it up for me and getting me another one.
Oh my God.
I know. I just had it in the wrong spot when he let his hand go down, and that was it. But
You don't have too much luck with the glass of wine.
the thing is, it had a lid and everything. It was like a travel one. So you would think not a lot would spill, but I had it open because I just took a sip, and yeah, right. And wine in cups, not good. I should get like a sippy cup or something. Oh my goodness. Or maybe I should cut back on the wine. I'm not sure. I think we'll go with the sippy cup, but oh man. Oh, so tonight, I wanted to go over mapping, just kind of go through. I was going to start at the first rank and then go up from there. So, it's one of those things. Once you like, I'll go through 2 or 3 of them. We can go over any questions, then we can go on, because I figure that'll be good and I can hit everyone wherever you're at. And I know others on here know quite a bit about it too. So it'll be good because it's really a little bit simpler than it seems. It's just hard to wrap your head around something so different than what we're used to. Yeah. So that's what I'm just going to share my screen, and we'll start with the first one. So some of you, this will be pretty basic since you've been, looking at it. Some of you, this might be something brand new. So, all right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Where it says Qualified Stylist. Okay. So this is our brand new stylists. Basically, this goal is just what we used to call bonus qualified is now called qualified stylist. So we're not using bonus qualified anymore, because basically you are qualifying for, any incentives and things like that as being a qualified stylist. So this one is super easy to understand in the fact that really you just have to hit $300 in PV. So, and that number is a little different for Canadian. I don't know if we have anyone on right now, but it is, I don't know what the Canadian amount is, but basically, that number's out there too. So easy enough. This is a nice little chart in the fact that, and I'll post this because I probably should have posted this before, but it's a nice little chart. You can fill in each of the stars as you work your way to the 300. So that's, pretty simple. And this is basically the first step in mapping as a brand new stylist. So hang this up on your wall and start filling in your stars to get to that qualified stylist rank. All right, so I think the most challenging thing about this is the fact that we're using the same name for some of these ranks that we used before, but they're different. Like it's a different qualification. So I think that's what's kind of hard to wrap our heads around, or at least that was the hardest thing for me. So with senior stylist in the past, the old rank for this, the old map was basically a circle and 2 circles off of it. So each one of those circles, the stylist just needs to bonus qualify and hit $300, and then you become a senior stylist. So you couldn't be a senior stylist unless you had recruits. Well, that has changed now in the fact that you could be a senior stylist and not have a single recruit, which is very cool. So you can get a promotion without having any recruits, because some of us, who I was one of those who started out strong in sales, but not as much in recruiting. So it's kind of a really cool way to be able to hit this rank if you don't have recruits. However, if you do, you might hit this a little sooner. So basically the gist of it is you have to be a qualified stylist, and your group, so it either is just you if you don't have a group, or anyone that you do recruit, all of your money together, all of your PV that you sold that month together has to be $700 or more. So it could be you and one other person. It could be just you. It could be you and 17 people. But you and whoever else is on your team has to have $700 in group volume. And when I say group volume, that just means total volume. Doesn't matter who, thank you. Doesn't matter who,
You got it?
yes, I got it. Who sells what, as long as you hit the 700. So any questions on this one? That one's, pretty self-explanatory. What's nice is you're getting bonuses for these too. What's that? Is there a question?
Yep.
Cool. All
Gotcha.
right. Next, we have elite stylist. This is a new name for the ranks. This one is, again, you always have to have $300 in your own volume, or 300 PV in your own volume. So that's just kind of a given in every single rank, that you have to be a qualified stylist yourself. This one basically is just inching it up to $1,250 for your group volume. Again, you can have, if you just have killer sales and you sell $1,250 in a month, you can become an elite stylist. You can have a couple recruits and all 3 of you together, as long as you hit the $1,250 as a total, then you become an elite stylist. So again, this one is really just kind of tracking how much your volume you're doing when you are, throughout the month. Now, does anyone have any questions about checking your volume, your group volume, to know what number that is? Does everyone know how to do that? I just want to make sure, because if you log into your PV or into your VO, thinking of all these letters, if you log into your VO, it's one of the first things you are going to see. So if you log into your app, and I'm just saying this mainly because I'm recording it, and someone else might have a question about it. So let me pull it up here really quick.
Sarah,
Yeah.
so each time we move up, we have to have the 300 PV in that 700 or whatever is going on for that level.
Right. You have to be a qualified stylist. So you have to have 300 of your own sales to qualify for any of the promotions or increases in rank.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. So if you log into your
Hey, Sarah,
yeah.
I think you have people in the waiting room.
Oh, I sure do. There it is. Okay. So if you log into your home office, this is where you're going to be able to see. So I just scrolled down from here down to here, and this is where you can see all of the numbers that we're talking about today.
Yep.
All right. So that is an elite stylist. Again, we're just focusing on sales. That's the biggest thing. If you were recruiting, you're going to hit this faster, because instead of just you doing the sales, your team is helping you do the sales. Okay, so team builder. Now this is where you're going to start. Okay, you need a team to be able to qualify for this particular rank. Now with this, again, you're a qualified stylist, Now your group has to have $2,000. So we're inching up with our volume that we sell as a whole, but you also have to have at least one stylist under you that has $300 in PV. So they have to be a qualified stylist. So this little chart, it's easy. This is you in the box, and then this is your qualified stylist. It can be one of your recruits. It could be the only recruit. It doesn't matter. You just have to basically have at least two people on your team at that point, you and someone else. Now, again, it would be one of those things in the past. Okay, if you just did $2,000 in volume, then you could get the rank promotion. But this one you actually have to do as a team. So that is the change when it comes to Team Builder. And this is where you're like starting to work into growing a team and what it's like to start helping other people. So it's pretty easy too. All right, so now we get to Senior Team Builder. And this is an important rank in the fact that this is a pretty big jump, because now you have two people under you who, or two recruits who actually both qualify as stylists, and they have to be senior stylists. So they have to actually have 700 in group volume. So I'm gonna flip back because actually I have it down here in the corner. I forgot about that. So down here in the corner, it tells you what a senior stylist is. So a senior stylist, this person right here and this person right here has to have at least 300 of their own sales and be a qualified stylist. And they have to have at least 700 in group volume. So if you have two rock stars who are doing $700 a month and you qualify, the capped group volume, we have to talk about that. Sorry. So to get these two senior stylists, they basically, to get their rank, they have to have their own $300 in PV to qualify, and then at least $700 in this leg. So when I talk about a leg, this is something to remember too. A leg is basically one of these lines that branches off from you. So it's like a little family. So we have these two families here. As we go, I'll explain a little bit more about how those work. But in this instance, there's basically two of them. Now, the catch here is it seems simple if you have two senior stylists. Okay, I have my two senior stylists, and they both did $700 in PV. So they're both senior stylists, but I'm not going to hit Senior Team Builder unless we all do a whole lot more in sales, because this capped group volume is what is going to define this Senior Team Builder. Now, in the past, in these past ranks, we were talking about group volume, and that's just your total sales, your whole team all together, just everyone's sales. Doesn't matter who sells what. You can sell the majority of it, but it's basically your whole team's total sales. Now, when we talk about capped group volume, this gets a little complicated, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to wrap your head around. But basically, it's to make sure you don't have this one senior stylist leg over here doing all the sales, and then this other one over here is basically just qualifying for the senior stylist rank. So it's trying to keep your team balanced. So the 3250 means half of that volume. So I should have my calculator here. I can't do it on the spot. All right. So basically one person, this person here can't do more than 1625 to get you to this 3250. So this person is only going to count for half of this capped group volume. Between you and the other person, you have to make up the other half. One misconception when it comes to this is you're like, oh goodness, this person's doing like $5,000 in sales. This little team over here is doing $5,000 in sales, and that's going to hurt me. It doesn't hurt you at all, because that's increasing your group volume, but you can only use as much as you and this other team over here are making together. Does anyone have any questions about that? Because I can go into more detail if needed, but if that makes sense. Okay. So that's basically, from this point forward, we're talking about capped group volume and not just regular total sales of your team. So when you come up with your two senior stylists here, if they just meet the minimum requirements, you're only sitting at 1,400 in sales between the two of them. So you're either going to have to make up the difference, or you're going to just have to do more. Their teams are going to have to do more than the minimum to hit senior stylist for you to be a senior team builder. So that is, this is where I think this is really the step that gets a little more complicated, because you can't just, oh, I have 2 senior stylists, I'm good. In the past, that was kind of how it worked, where it's like, oh, we just have these people who are bonus qualifying, and that helps me hit my goals. But that changed. And I think part of it is it's helping us all to focus a lot on our product and the sales. And that really is the basis of our business. So we're not like a lot of the other companies out there who are like, oh, let's just build teams and forget about the sales. And I'm just going to do $300 to do the bare minimum, because really it all revolves around this amazing product. And as long as we keep a focus on that, that's how we're going to be really strong as a company. Okay, so moving up to team leader. So this one again is another jump in the fact that we're looking at a capped group volume of 5,500. So that's something to keep in mind if you're shooting for this team leader leg, in the fact that, okay, our team needs to be really kicking butt in sales. And you have to have 3 legs. So when I talk about legs, it's each of these lines, these little families, you have to have 3 of them. In this line, okay, so we're going to have our team builder over here, and this is the one who basically has to have the, I don't think they gave me the, hold on. Let me go back real quick so I'm talking about the right thing. Yes, you have to have a qualified stylist. So you have to have this qualified stylist under there to be able to be a team builder. So this person has to start building their team. And then you have your 2 senior stylists over here who could hit rank as a senior stylist without any recruits. But, they may be starting to build their legs as well. And then the capped group volume. So this one, instead of 2 legs that you have to make sure are balanced, you just have to make sure one of them isn't unbalanced, because it's basically, okay, if you're looking at this team builder leg, it's probably going to be a pretty strong leg, because it's going to be bigger likely than the 2 senior stylist legs. So you can't let all the sales come from this leg over here. Team leader, this is where your team is really, starting to grow. And I'm going to share the document from Color Street. I will post that as well. But basically, this is where, you're really going to have some team responsibilities, and you're going to have, you're going to want to support this team that you're starting to build here. So you're not just going to let them do it all on their own, because you want them to be successful, and they need your help, because you've been doing this for a little while, and you know what you're doing. So you got to share that. Okay. Any questions at this point with team leader?
Sarah,
Yeah.
just a suggestion to help what I think helps. I'm looking at this as kind of like either a robot or a person.
Mhm.
The legs going down, it looks like the robot's legs, if that helps anyone out.
Absolutely. Yep. That makes
Just
sense. Except there's 3 on this one. So what are you envisioning?
He's got 3 legs,
Okay. Okay.
One with the 2 worked out really well. His head and then his legs and the 2
Right.
circles. He
Right.
gained an extra leg somewhere along the way, but
Right. An extra leg.
I'm going with this, which kind of helps me.
No, that's a good idea. And it does help with the legs, and, makes a little more sense of it. So, okay. Team leader. Okay. Now when we hit senior team leader, to qualify for the senior team leader, here we are again, making sure each of our legs meets the requirement. And we have a 10,000 PV capped group volume. So we're, pretty, you're rocking it as a team at this point when it comes to your sales. And this leg over here isn't giving you all your sales. Your senior stylists here are really contributing along with yourself to hit this capped group volume. So basically you and these, I'm just using this for an example, these 3 senior stylists are doing 5,000 of the sales. And then say your senior team builder, that leg is doing 5,000 of your sales. So that's how you're gonna hit your 10,000 capped group volume. So now when it comes to senior team builder, you need to look down here and be like, oh, okay, well, yes, just because they have 2 senior stylists under them doesn't necessarily mean they're a senior team builder until they hit these, this capped group volume total. Now, when you're getting to this point, this is when you're going to want to map more than just yourself. So this is when you're like, okay, I'm going to do a map for my senior team builder here. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to print this because it's super helpful to be able to have all of these details on here. And you can print this for your senior team builder that's on your team that is this leg. And then, you know, your senior stylist, those are pretty self-explanatory. So this is where I would say, especially as you're just starting out, is a good place where you're going to start mapping your team as well. And that's going to help you help them look for goals and look for opportunities. Like, okay, I'm watching, you're really close, but your capture group volume is a little bit off. So we need to, work with this side of the team and try to work on some different ideas on how we can increase those sales a little bit to balance out that capped group volume. The other thing about the senior team leader promotion is huge, because this is when you are going to be able to place your recruits. So this is the point. In the past, it was team leader. Now it's senior team leader. And again, they don't equate. So it's not like, oh, you have to do more now than you did before to be able to place. It's just different. So now as a senior team leader, you are able to recruit someone and put them somewhere on your tree. They call it a tree as well, because it's kind of like branching out like a tree. You can put them somewhere on your tree. Now, the thing is, as of May, this is as of May, you can, as a senior team leader, place below a senior team builder. So it has to be directly under a senior team builder or above. So the only place, if I, as the senior team leader, got a recruit and I wanted to place them somewhere and put them somewhere, they're still my recruit, but I want to put them somewhere else on my tree, I can only put them under my senior team builder, and it's directly under the senior team builder. So I couldn't put them under the senior stylist. I would have to directly put them under the senior team builder. So that's the transition period.
Where is that? I missed that fact somewhere.
Angie shared that with us in the leader chat. I would grab that before I got on here. I can, it's in the,
But it's not even on the development phase planning guide.
okay, so she shared it on Tuesday with us.
Oh, hold on, I see it, it is. So it says placement refers to the ability to enroll a stylist and place them in another stylist level 1. Stylists with a paid rank of senior team leader or above have the ability to place a new stylist under downline stylist with paid rank of senior team builder and above during the transition period.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. That's
My other question is, and this is something, that I see for my team and most of the people that are actually even on the screen tonight, if they are team leaders, are they grandfathered in for placement, or are they all going to lose their placement? Because that's like going to be a huge, that means we need to be building this month. And I mean, we would be building it this month anyways, but it's going to be much harder when this rank changes, because then the only people that are going to be able to be placed under them are going to be Gina. Like Gina and I are going to be the only two that can place under them. They're not going to be able to place on their own team.
right.
So I'm specifically thinking of Anka right now, because I wrote out her map. Sorry, Anka, I'm putting you on the spot. But I wrote out her map, and she has a really strong team. But and she would start at senior team builder, but then her Zyra leg, like she's not going to have the girls or the money. But then when she gets to senior team builder, Anka's not even going to have the ability, if Anka gets a recruit, to give her to Zyra to strengthen that.
Right.
It's going to be taken away. So
it's not necessarily taken away, because it's not the same thing. So like senior team leader isn't automatically above team leader. Like,
no, I said senior team builder.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess
she's not going to have placement rights. So what I'm saying, like, how can she help build Zyra out?
So that's where the leadership portion of it comes in, where you're going to work with her to help her start building her own team. So I think that's one of the reasons that they changed some of this is, okay, some of us were able to just, okay, we recruit really well and really fast. And it's like, okay, great. I'm going to place these people in all these places on my team. But then the people that you're placing them under may not be at a position where they even know what to do to be a leader. So the whole point is trying to establish a more long-term leader versus just placing to try to get promotions. So I think that's really like the goal. So yes, I totally get it. And it is frustrating to have that ability and then potentially not have that ability. So I do know that that's a challenge, and a lot of stylists are a little frustrated with that. But the long-term reasoning behind it is because I could, as you know, a senior team leader, or as a team leader, I could place under someone who I just recruited yesterday, and I could throw a couple people under her and be like, oh, okay, well now you're a senior stylist and this is your team. And it's like, I don't even know what I'm doing yet. So it was a challenge. And I think the goal is to try to transition from, I'm going to just get all the recruits and I'm going to put them where I want, to I'm going to work with you and help you figure out how to get recruits of your own and how to work with people and grow your team yourself. Because if we naturally do that and evolve into that, then these teams are going to grow so much like stronger and so much like faster. Because if you have all these people recruiting versus just yourself placing under different people, that's where we're going to find strength in the company. So that's my thought on the process. And I know it doesn't fix the fact that it can be frustrating during the transition period, but knowing Anka, I mean, she's fantastic and an extremely strong stylist. So I see no problem in her, bridging that gap pretty quickly.
Where does the placement tool come in this new plan?
Senior team leader.
Okay.
Now to complicate things a little bit more, as of October, that's when the final plan goes into place and the transition is over. And as a senior team leader, you can only place under a team leader or above. So that happens in October. So there's that. So I know it's not ideal, but I understand the reasoning and I understand why, especially looking at my past and things that have happened along the way and how I've placed. And, it kind of leaves me to lead a lot of people that it would be really nice if I had a few more leaders who grew their own team and kind of evolved as leaders. So does that help at all?
So just to clarify, so I'm pretty sure I'm going into this as a senior team leader. And if I have placement capabilities, you're saying I can only place to my team leader, but I don't even need a team leader to be a senior team leader. So
no, you can only place under senior team builder. So your STB that you see there, the rectangle, that's where you can place right now. Now moving into October, yes, that's when you're only able to place under a team leader, which you're right. You don't necessarily need a team leader, but eventually you will to move up to the next level.
So I have from April to October.
May is when that the transition for the placement goes into effect.
So I have a question for Gina now.
So I'm sorry. It's a 1 month transit, April to May?
May is when this senior team leader is when you place, when that goes into effect. And that goes then until October when it comes to the team builder and above. But when you hit October, then it's team leader and above.
Because this starts in April, Gina, this starts in April and you're earning your rank in April. And then whatever, when you end the month, that's your new rank. So if you hit senior team leader, then you get the placement.
Okay.
Can I ask a question now, Gina? Are you good? Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't cut you off. Okay, so for Gina's tree, for example, and I just want to make sure this stays the same. So I'm thinking of the Nicole Cynthia tree. And so if Cece in that tree, like say for example, Nicole doesn't BQ or qualify,
Mhm.
is it still the strongest leg? So like,
Yep.
like
Yeah.
if she was the senior team builder,
Right,
Yes.
your
still
first line
count
doesn't
strongest
have-
leg
right. Yeah, you don't have to use your first line as
as the leg.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Right.
the highest rank of that leg is what that leg would be.
The highest rank of that leg is,
Right.
it
If it's
doesn't matter who it is.
down and you're like the senior team builder of that leg,
Okay.
you still have a senior team builder in that leg.
Okay.
Cool. Yep, and that's where it gets a little dicey. All right, so now you're hitting director. And this one truly, it just kind of grows. All of the numbers are growing. Your PV, same, capped group volume goes up. You need a team leader leg now. You need 3 elite stylists. Now the difference, like when you look at this compared to the director now, like it's different because you don't need, gosh, now I have to remember exactly what's in a director. What, you have 2 senior stylists, a qualifying stylist, and a team leader. Is that what
Yeah.
you need as a director now? Yeah. So truly, this one is a little different because you can do these elite stylists and you don't have to have a recruit to be an elite stylist. So if you don't have, in the past, these people needed to have 2 under each of them to qualify as like, to hit these positions in the director rank. So that's how it's different. So it's not quite the same when it comes to demands from recruiting. And I think this is probably part of, again, we aren't able to place in the same way. We also don't have the same requirements of bodies. We have requirements of hitting certain, sales goals and things like that, more so than we did in the past. So I can dive into this. I think it's pretty tough. Oh, go ahead.
And something you're going to find though, is that those elite stylists, and I know this is probably only talking to me on the screen right now, but those elite stylists, like I have them laid out and they're already higher than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of weird how that is the director leg, because all 3 people that I put into elite stylist are already a significant higher rank than that in those locations.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of why that is, but I don't know.
Well, because like to this point, yeah.
I guess if you look at the senior director one, like, because I have Rachel going in as a team builder, so that would already be, or roughly a team builder. So
Mhm.
that would already be that leg. I guess, okay. I guess, yeah, and then that's Anka, but I have her going in as a senior team builder.
Mhm.
And then my struggle is my 4th. So that team builder there for senior would be Cassandra, but she's nowhere near a team builder yet.
Yeah. So I guess that right there is the opportunity, because as we're transitioning, we get that grace on that 4th leg. So that's until October. That's like a good focus where it's like, okay, I'm going to work with her. We're going to figure out how, if that's her goal, obviously it needs to be, her goal too, but how you can work with her on, working towards that bit by bit. And the great thing is, like, we didn't have the rank bonuses before. Like, it's pretty cool that when you go from a qualified stylist to a senior stylist to a team builder, I mean, you get bonuses for all of that, which is pretty awesome.
So if you don't have this, I want to recommend for everyone to print this, because this is going to be your life-saving tool. And sorry, I will go on screen for a second. And I would just be honest, I am not wearing a bra. So the love of Arthur Street. Okay. So you're just gonna see the top of my head. Maybe. Am I on? Can you see me? I don't even see myself. So, okay, cool. This page is a lifesaver. Like there are all these maps, like, and trust me, I printed them, I write on them, but this is like the golden ticket because you can see, like I just put a P here tonight because that's where placement starts and I didn't know that. But it shows you if you just go straight down, all the bonuses you can add. It's very linear. So no matter what rank you are, you can see what the next added bonus and percentages are. This is like my favorite part of this whole thing. So, and this isn't your VO, it's just a single page.
Yep.
And it has all the definitions at the bottom, which is also helpful to help remind you. Anyways, so print this. If you're on my team, this is your homework. Make sure you print this.
That's Amanda, the teacher, kicking.
But it is, it's super easy to look at and be like, oh, wow, if I get that next rank, I get an extra 6%. Or if I get that, I mean, it's.
Yep. Yeah. When the money comes into play, that's super helpful. Yeah. Yep. And it's so interesting because some people are so good with like, charts and things like that. Some people are a little more like, okay, I need to draw this and see how it's all like coming together. And some people are like, oh, I need to do it all. And that would be me. I'm like, I need to do this, and then I need to do this, and then I'm going to have it all like this. And then it's in notes like this. So, but I think the big thing too, the big takeaway from this too is don't get overwhelmed, like focus on, where you're looking right now, just so you can kind of generally get an idea of where you might, fall, which is not necessarily going to be the case because they're still working on the details on how we're going to all get ranked to start. So I didn't even concern myself with that right now because that's like trying to figure out Google. But anyway, but it is really nice. My biggest thing when I learned about this was I need to know where I am right now. Like if it were today and this new plan, this is where I'm at right now. So that's one of the biggest things that helped me that I would recommend is just trying to start with the charts and look and be like, okay, this is kind of where I'm thinking it should be.
Oh, so that, just so you know, the that chart I just showed is actually part of a 4-page document. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. I think it is.
Yeah, where it talks about the phases.
I think it is. No, I think it's part of the compensation plan one.
Okay.
I think.
Have it handy.
This is another good chart.
Yeah, it gives you the transition. Gosh darn it, I can't get to this.
Just like a
So-
quick glance.
What questions do you guys have at this point? Because I think that's probably as far as I'm going to go. I think that probably covers most everyone and where you are now. And as you're kind of charting for the future, that would be a much better conversation, more one-on-one with either, your upline or me or whomever. You can kind of just double check and make sure your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted, because I think that's one thing. It's really nice to be able to brainstorm with someone else. Like, oh, why would I not hit this rank? It's like, oh, because your capped group volume isn't where it needs to be. So those are easy things to miss, especially since it's not something that, in most of the ranks at this point, you have to worry too much about.
I have one question because I totally forget the answer. If you promote, so if I have someone on my team that promotes to team leader for the first time this month, okay, so that it's their first month hitting, do they have to wait until next month for placement? Or if they got another stylist, would they be able to place them once they hit that rank in the current month? I can't remember the answer to that.
That's a good question. I'm trying to remember that too.
You can place them as soon as you hit. You don't have to wait for the month.
Oh, okay.
At your rank, the placement appears.
Awesome. I couldn't remember that. Because, well, my only question to that then is, so what happens if someone like quits? Because that's happened before, where I had someone
Before month end.
and someone quits before month end and they didn't end up getting director. It sucked. It really sucked.
Mm.
But anyway, that's probably just one of the, it barely happens. So it's probably a non-issue. So we have 1 minute left because I'm cheap and I don't pay for Zoom. So someday I'll be, I'll pay for Zoom, but not today. Does anyone have any last minute questions? I am more than happy to, if we want to get back on for another topic when it comes to how we do this, just let me know what those topics are, what your questions are that you want to get into, because I'm not sure, some things are still going to be a question until we find out more from corporate, but ultimately I want to make sure we're answering all the questions between all of us leaders. So maybe just comment in the event, because I'm going to get cut off. Just comment in the event if there's certain topics that you want to get deep into, and we can do another Zoom about it. But hopefully tonight helped a little bit. And then, yeah, go into your resources in the VO. There's a lot of good stuff when it comes to the new comp plan and, how they give you the resources and things like that, like Amanda mentioned.